Welcome back, everybody. I told you it would come. I don't break the promises. Here we go. In the upper right-hand corner, we got ourselves a 2v2 match. It will be Banyo playing as the red Zerg. That is an off race for him. And, for Sage will be the off race. Sage will be playing as the blue Zerg. Banyo is the red Zerg. Banyo is typically a Zerg. Sage is typically a Protoss. In the bottom left-hand corner, playing for Polaris here, it's the purple Protoss. It will be Polaris, and as the teal Protoss, it will be Stargazer. So we will have a Protoss versus Zerg type matchup. Should be a doozer. If you haven't noticed, we are on 2 times to get this baby going for us here. Here we go. Probe is going to get in the base for Stargazer there. He does see that he is up against Zerg there. He does have the spawning pool going down at the 12 mark there, and also an Overlord scouting over there for Sage there. Sage, in the meantime, he has also got his going down. His went down about 12 mark, just a little bit behind Banyo's there. So Sage, went down to that mark there. Sage is expected to be a little bit slower, as this is not his race at all here, but either way, both these guys are very good players. There you go. Look at that. Banyo is already getting the expansion out there. Sage is going to mimic that. He's going to get his out as well here. Probe's going to see that, so they realize it is hatched first. Not going to punish it, though, which is a little bit odd there. Usually you want to plant a pylon in there, maybe get a forge going, and a bit of a cannon type rush on the early hatches there, but either way, he's just going to let that go here, and we're going to get Banyo heading down with his Overlord as well here. All the Overlords going across the map for Banyo and Sage. And up here he does have a gateway and a cyber core. There we go. Looking at this there, we average about 35 to 45, so not too bad on the APM count here. Taking a look at our units tab here, we do have a couple zealots on the map here. Yeah, basic queen and 4 dogs, so nothing overly special this early in the game. Let's slow this down as I'm falling behind. There we go. So both these hatcheries are going to finish up there. Like I said before, Banyo just a little bit ahead of Sage as far as this goes, which is to be expected, as that is his natural race there. Sage does have himself some dogs out there, so we'll have a little bit of defense. Down the other end, it does look like we are going 1, 2, 3. And is that the... Oh, we're going 3 gate into a Stargate there, so not too bad of a move here. His partner there, Stargazer, has basically got himself up with 1 and with the cyber core. So 1 gateway, 1 cyber core, but he did expand though. So at the same time, he is going to go with a little bit more of a macro heavy game. And here we go. We're getting some dogs out there for Banyo there. Not too bad of an idea to send out dogs nice and early. They are very good scouting tools. And Sage, in the meantime here, he's going to start macroing up on that hatchery there. And still no roach warren or anything, so I'm not too sure if these two have a plan of what they want to do so far. But we do have the roach warren going up for Banyo here, so these guys will kind of have some roaches to at least protect them for a little bit here. But at the same time, Sage feels it's time to move out here. He's got a lot of dogs moving to the middle of the map here. They're going to all gather together at the middle of the map and relax for a little bit here. And there they go. They're going to head out here. We are getting another gateway again here. Wow, so we are going to run 4 gate and 1 Stargate, running it off of 1 base, so it's going to be a little bit tough there. Might want to look to expand here pretty quick here. Sage, in the meantime, is massing up those dogs here, doing a very decent job with them here. I actually like to pull the units tab out of the way with the team games. It does get very busy here. Does have the 1 upgrade. Has the metabolic boost so far, so does have that going for him so far, which is signified by the wings on them there. At the other end there, we do not have any upgrades for the dogs, as he is not really building a lot of dogs there. There we go with the hallucinated Phoenix. Very smart move as a Protoss player. And Sage is going to chase this all down. He's basically covering the middle of the map, making sure they know exactly where everything is, and if anything is going to move out on him, he will be the first to see it there. And Sage is going to start moving slowly down the map here. Get closer and closer to that base there. If he moved in realistically, he could put a hurting on him, but at the same time there, they do have enough units to fend it off with half decent micro there. There's the observer. That's going to scout the army there. Now that's enough to get Sage to really move in there. He is going to move in full force now at this point in time. He does have the mothership core up there. Mothership core will spot this as well here. But he's going to elect to go the other direction here. Is that any smarter? Oh, he does have Void Rays, so that will be very smart. It's going to give him a lot of intel. Obviously not smart for the engagement, but at the same time, he knows the voids are on the field, so it does tell him that they do need to start protecting against that. And here he goes. Might see some free drone kills down here, but he is going to go right for the army. Don't think that's the smartest move here. He's going to go right for the main army, so he's going to end up losing all these dogs pretty easily. But he did actually draw a photon overcharge out, so not too bad. Definitely won't have enough DPS to take that down there. But either way, like I say, he drew the photon overcharge, so drew a lot of energy out of that mothership core there. At the other end there, he did get up. Banyo did react right away, I guess there. He did end up picking up that spore crawler. So very good move. Now they know, and of course there's spore crawler there. I think they already had them up, to be honest with you. But either way, now they know. And here comes some roaches coming out for Banyo. Banyo, in the meantime, has basically roach warren, nothing else yet. Sage, he is going to go into a Spire. So Sage did get a layer up and is going to go right to Spire. Over here, we still are riding on the 4-gate / 1 Stargate type build here. It does have a lot of Zealots on the field, but has a couple Oracle for harassment there. So I imagine that's going to come pretty soon here. And we are going to go Robo for his partner there. So Stargazer is going to go Robo. Polaris is going to go into a bit of a Stargate / Gateway type build. And here comes Banyo. Got a lot of roaches to go across the map here. So this should be a fairly hefty attack here. They're going to try and move right in here. We'll be able to do a fair bit of damage. There isn't really a lot of air, but if he does bring the oracles over, he could start melting these pretty quickly. There we go. Banyo does finally see this is happening. He needs to get in and try and get as many probe kills as he can, but at the same time might be able to focus down a few of these units here. And he is actually going to try and get a Nexus kill. He's really just going to focus on the Nexus. Nobody's going to bother him. They are elected to try and go. There they go. All the oracles are powering up there. Might end up taking this Nexus down if he continues to fire on it. Very good micro so far. He will actually get the kill in the Nexus here. I would have to believe. Very good kill. So Banyo getting a good kill in the Nexus. That'll help him out a big time there. But in the end here, he's going to lose that army. Now, whether or not that's worth it, I would have to say it's a good trade-off. He did lose a lot. He lost more in the mineral and gas type count, but at the same time, knocking down that expansion is a fairly big deal here. And the layer technology is up. And what is he going to do with that here? There we go. It does look like Spire as well. So both these guys probably going into a muted type build. I have to imagine maybe they're talking to each other, letting them each know exactly what they want to do here, and now move into it because they realize they're ahead of the game. They knocked down the expansion, so their opponents aren't going to go overly heavy on the macro game, or at least Stargazer isn't. They're not too sure about Polaris, which they should be a little bit worried, being that they've seen the Void Rays. Oh wow, we're getting into a 3 Stargate. So he's going to go into a 3 gate, being that they've seen the Oracles and the Void Ray out of Polaris, but they don't really know what he has for building. So that could be a little bit of trouble for him. They might not know what he's working off. If he's going to work off 3 gate, it's going to be a little bit of trouble for him. They're going to be able to spit out units left, right, and center. And he's definitely not committing to the gateway, as he doesn't even have warp gate technology there. So definitely wasn't committing to that at all. But in the meantime there, it does have a fairly decent army for Polaris with the 2 Voids here. Let's actually take a look here so we can see a little bit better there. It does have the 3 Voids, 2 Oracles, and 9 Zealots. Also is partnered with a very good army. 7 Zealots, or 7 Stalkers, sorry. 1 Colossi and 3 Zealots. There we go. There's the Mutas coming out there. Does look like our good man Sage is going to spin them out. Has 11 of them on the field so far. Banyo still with none on the field for him here, but at the same time there, he was a little bit behind on his Spire there. Did he actually end up canceling that? There goes the Spire right there. It just popped up right there. So he's going to start getting those on the field as well here. And here we go. Apparently it is time there. Sage says it's time to move out. Sage is going to go right in the back of the mineral line here. Don't have any cannons at all. So all they have is units to bring over. He should be able to get a lot of probe kills here. And yes, they are. Look at them go knocking down a lot of probes with these guys here. I believe that was 5 or 6 that went down there. And he is going to continue to fly out here. And there we go. There's the big air army here. So he should run out of there. At the same time, the Oracles can't really do anything there. So he might have been all right to actually focus fire them right down there. But either way, he is trying to basically harass at this point in time. He's getting his opponents. Their opponents' APM should be just be flying at this point in time there. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. Go all into the hundreds there. So decent job there. So he's really getting them focusing all over the map here. Not doing that bad of a job so far. Oh, does end up getting knocked down a fair bit there. Wowzer gets right into the base. There's way too many stalkers for him. He's really got to give up on that there. It's not going to work anymore. But, and yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get back to the main part of his base here and basically get all accumulated up with his partner here. Banyo, in the meantime, he did actually end up getting metabolic boost, I do believe there. And he also has nothing for mutas, which is a little bit surprising. Does have the Spire up, so I'd have to imagine they're going to come. But at the same time, hasn't built anything as of yet there. So basically, it will be Sage controlling the map here with his mutas, or at least as much as he can here. At the other end, they do have a lot of Phoenixes here, so they're looking to counter this pretty hard. And they actually look like they're doing a fairly decent job with their unit count here. Looking really good. There we go. Banyo actually does have mutas on the field here. And he's going to start moving them in there. Maybe they'll look to combine their attacks here. At the same time there, that dog does see him coming through there. That is Banyo's dog, so it doesn't really matter. Banyo will watch him go over, and they will look to go in at the same time here, or maybe look to do a 2-pronged attack, which is what I'm going to recommend, but apparently not. They're going to go right for the same mineral line here, and here he goes here. Banyo's not going to do anything, but Sage is going to do all the work here. He's really going to go to work on all these probes here. We'll get a lot more probe kills, and now he's going to try focusing everything down, but that's a lot of Phoenixes, and if you can micro your Phoenixes, and it looks like he can, there's not a lot Mutas can do here. Oh, might get caught off guard there. Here we go. Might be able to focus down a few here. Does end up getting one there, but way too many Voids. They're going to have chasing the rest down here. So it didn't work out all that well. In the meantime, though, Banyo's trying to get in there and get done what he can. He's trying to focus down these pylons here, focus down another probe there. Here goes one of the pylons. It might actually unpower the cyber core, maybe not. No, this one just has enough there. So he's going to try and focus down everything he can. Killing these 2 pylons will be a very big win for him here. And there he goes. He needs to... Oh, no. Don't focus on the gateways. He's got... Oh, if he had to focus down that second pylon, would have unpowered all 3 of those gateways and at least delayed them quite a bit there. But in the meantime, they do get everything over to that end of the map here, and that will chase Banyo out of there. So Banyo's heading back to his base here. Banyo, is he going to get into hive technology? Not as of yet. So he's just going to stick with this here. Does have the evil chamber out there. And also does have the metabolic boost as we mentioned earlier there. And there's Sage, has his third building out there. So he now has 2 expansions going there, 3 hatchery altogether there. So both these guys doing a fairly decent job. Their opponents are doing all right at the same time here. Like I said, it's a very big army they have as far as the Phoenix and Void Ray count go. You don't want to let that get too high because they'll melt away at your mutas basically there. And here we go. Very good creep spread at the same time by Banyo and Sage. They're at least looking half decent there. Or at least Banyo is. Sage doesn't really build too much for creep spread, but either way it works, you know. As long as one of your teammates are doing it, no point in the other one doing it here. Here we go. Polaris sending out a bunch of Zealots. Basically hoping to get some expansion kills here. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. He's going to get right in there. We'll actually get an expansion kill here quite easily as he is working down Sage's army. At the meantime there, we do have some more down here. So Polaris really being annoying with these here. This one might actually get stopped here as that is a lot of mutas there. So they'll actually end up knocking that down. So that doesn't go so well. Over here, that doesn't go so well either. Just realizing they need to get basically all anti-air. Here comes the Phoenixes. They're going to get quite a few kills if the mutas don't get out of there. And they're doing very good micro trying to go in circles there. There goes every single one of those mutas here. They're very good. And it does look like Spore Crawlers are going to be a choice to try and fend all these Phoenixes off here. Not too bad of an idea, as Phoenixes won't be doing a darn thing to your Spore Crawler. Polaris is just going to leave it though. A little bit surprising there. He's going to walk out of that base. And way over here, it does look like Banyo's going to try and move into this base here. It does look like they went into a Temper type build here. A lot of Tempers on the field. And they're trying to expand down here, but I don't think that's going to go so well. In the meantime, though, he is bringing over some more probes here. So that could be very devastating. He's going to lose a lot of transferring probes here. There they go. He's going to knock down every single one of these transferring probes here. And it does look like we have a lot of Phoenixes. They're going to try and come over, try and control these mutas here, but at the same time, these mutas are really going to work. They did do a good warp in there. That will help a little bit. At least delay enough to possibly get the Phoenix over here, which is really what's worth it in the end. They did end up killing that expansion over there. And here we go. They are going to go to work on there. These, oh no, Polaris stopped him a little bit too soon. Does try and warp in some more units. And here we go. He's going to try and chase out Banyo there. Banyo's going to stand there, but he is flying right through him. So the mutas will be getting a lot of shots off there. And there we go. There's that micro and skill coming out of Polaris there. He's doing really good with micro and the Phoenixes so far this game here. And he will end up killing every single one of these mutas pretty soon here. Oh, he does let the stalkers go to work on him there. So very good move there. Nicely done. Good micro. Definitely good at controlling those Phoenixes here. Not looking to lift anybody up. They're more looking to control the air at this point in time. Oh, they will lift a queen up. So not too bad of a move there. Just not picking. Oh, they are. There you go. Eat my words. Apparently he's picking everything up now at this point in time. Do have a lot of dogs coming over here. Not too sure if the dogs are coming over just to watch the show, or maybe they thought that was a very fun looking ride, as they're all getting picked up now too here. And he's trying to melt a lot. He's burning a lot of energy, but at the same time, that's all that energy is used for. Their Spore Crawler is almost finished here. And there he goes. He did all the work he could do, and now he's going to end up getting out of there. But the mutas try and cut him off there. And here we go with that micro again. Those mutas finally back off. So very smart move. We want to get back off into those Spore Crawlers here. And they now have maintained this base. This base is fully up and running now. It does have some Colossi, some Stalkers. Everything's moving over to this base to try and protect it. And over here he does have the... Oh, they're moving out now. The Voids are going to start moving out with these Phoenixes here. So this could be very big trouble, especially if they bring him in here. I don't know if he wants to bring the mutas in, because that is a lot of Phoenix going at her here. And there he goes. He does end up running here. Dogs are going to end up going across the map trying to counter, try and get the attention over there. Look at all those mutas. They're going to end up melting every single one of those quite easily, as that is a lot of Phoenix in there. And they end up chasing them all off there. They try and come back. They're trying their best there, but they're just getting wasted on there. And here goes the Spore Crawler. Spore Crawler goes down. In the meantime, we did get a counter over here. So he's trying to do as much as he can, but that's way too big of a ground army here. I don't think that's going to go overly well. And there we go. We'll end up finishing all that here. What does he have building here? Has a lot more dogs ready to come out here. At the same time, though, Sage has a pretty big army here. He does have a lot of dogs, and he did end up going Hydra, so he did end up going anti-air here. He might actually end up losing this expansion. Yes, he will. Quite easily with that. A massive amount of Zealots there. Ends up losing that, but they still have a lot of Phoenixes on the map and a very big ground army here by Stargazer here. So that could be very, very scary, but we only have dogs for Banyo. I don't know if that's the best of choices there. But Banyo is also only on 2 bases. He's at the 21-minute mark, so he's not running a very high income roll right now here. And there we go. Their armies are both together. And now, but Sage is going to move out there, and Sage has a very big army now. If he gets up in this natural, it could be big trouble. There's a ping. They are pinging down here, basically realizing that the expansion in the army is down there, but at the same time, Sage is pushing ahead. And I think that's the right move, and so we'll end up massacring through this quite easily here. And I'm not too sure if Polaris has the army to come over here in the air, because that is a lot of Hydras on there. If we take a look at the Hydra upgrades, they are 1-1, so not too bad there. So decent upgrades they are riding. Over here, we do have all those Phoenixes here. Phoenixes are riding on a 1-1 as well. one being on the shield, so not too bad there. And here we go. He's trying to move into that base here. Oh, there's the mass recall. And look at that. That is something else there. There's all the units coming out there, which is very smart there. I think he has the army to fend this off, but at the same time, he doesn't have a very good area to get out, as all his units were stuck in there. So I believe that Sage might have been able to push a little bit harder there and stay on the outside. Ooh, good storm. He gets down there. Sage is trying to get out of there. In the meantime there, we do have some more voids and that moving across the map here. Sage basically just trying to save himself here. He's got to get out of there. Did end up taking down the expansion of Polaris there, so that was a very good move by him there. And other than that, he's going to move right out of there. Should be able to get out of there scot-free. But in the same time, Stargazer is going to chase him down. And Stargazer is continuing to get shots off. But there we go. Now he's on the creep. He will easily get that speed advantage here. And way over here, we did get some dogs coming over here. But at the same time, there's Stargazer does have some zealots over there. They end up cleaning that all up there. And here we go. Sage is back at her here. Sage actually has a lot. Wow, 24. That's about 31 Hydras altogether, and did re-expand way up here. Is that slowly getting underway there? And over here, we just have a lot of dogs for Banyo here, and they realized that there was nobody on this expansion, but at the same time, there is something set to build. Not that they can see that, but it won't matter because that probe will go down, and all those blue holograms will disappear. So there we go at the other end here. Here's his ground army. His ground army is going to move out here. They're going to try to take this lockout to get this gold expansion here. So not too bad of a move there. That will definitely help them beneficially. At the same time, Polaris really needs to get that base. He should be the one taking this, as he's still on one base and has basically mined that right out there. Sage, in the meantime, catches a few moving units, so definitely very helpful. Banyo doing very well for himself. I do believe these guys are slowly starting to take over. Meanwhile, Stargazer is really the only guy with an army on their end here. He does have a bit of, well, I will give it to Polaris. He does have the air control, does have a lot of Phoenixes. But at the same time, there's not a lot of air units anymore for Banyo and Sage. They've really gone right off of this Muta-type build here. They're going to push through. He does not want a piece of that ground army. That ground army is very, very strong there. Does have 2-2 on the upgrades now. So very good upgrades for him. Sage, in the meantime, still working on the 1-1, but here we go. He's going to attack over here, and that ground army can only be at one place at one time here. And here we go. He's going to try and go through all these cannons here. With this amount of dogs and Hydras, he should do a fairly decent job. Should be able to melt right through this. At the same time, it would be helpful if Sage would push up at the other end. Because it is forcing the army right over here, and he really should be able to kill this off before that army gets there, at least be darn close. Yes, he does. So very good job killing that army here. We have a couple of Colossi in that over here. Not too sure if he mass recalled him over here or how he got him over here, but either way, they are guarding the base here, and he is going to go to work, try and kill what he can, kill everything on the inside of that base, but the army that comes in from behind will probably be able to finish him off here, and there will have no way to get out of there. All his Hydras are pretty much at 0 health at this point in time here. And there we go. Sage is going to push out here. Sage will get this gold expansion before it ends up going up, so that'll be very, very good, and they are keeping Polaris there on one base. And if they can keep on that one base the entire game there, he's going to mine himself out very quickly and have basically nothing left here. If we take a look at what he does have left, basically 752 minerals and 1,000 gas. So not a lot to build up on. But either way there, it does look like, yeah, he did too. Yes, Banyo lost his whole army. So basically, Sage will be running the show here. Sage has 190, almost 200 army. And so basically, Sage for Stargazer. And Stargazer only has 135 armies, so not doing all that well at all here. And there we go. They have a bunch of big drone transfers going, or probe transfers going on over here. Not entirely sure where they're transferring. They're all transferring back over this expansion to try and get it back up and running here. And in the meantime here, it looks like Sage is going to relax for a bit. Banyo's going to try and build up an army of dogs again. And we could probably speed this baby up here, as it doesn't look like anybody's going to move for a little bit here until at least one of their partners get upgraded here. And there we go. Do take over the Naga Tower. And other than that, it does look like actually that Stargazer might end up moving out here. So Stargazer is going to try and move out here, and that's what they need to do. They need to try and put the pressure, reverse it, put the pressure on Banyo and Sage, and that could be the key to victory here. They are going to take down another expansion there. That goes down quite easily. Does end up taking down a Spore Crawler as well there, or at least he should. And he is not going to. Enough of it beating on the observer there. He's not going to bother taking that out. Not that that's going to be life or death, but he does have the proxy out there. Very good map vision out of Banyo and Sage. I will say that. They're constantly pinging. They seem to know where everything is at all times there. And it does look like Sage is going to try and move across here. He really probably could take out this army if he elects to encounter them dead on here. And at the same time, there we go. There's this two-pronged attack I talked about. Banyo's going to go one way, and Banyo's going to run into a big air army, though, and they have amassed some carriers now. So this might not be good, but he's going to try and get in the mineral line, take out as many as he can here. At the meantime there, it does look like Sage is backing off. I really think Sage should be engaging this here, but with the storms, you got to keep out of the way of them there. Very good storms going down here. Holy, he might actually end up winning this battle. It's going to be very close. Sage getting right in there, which is exactly what he needs to do. as that is a lot of Templars casting storms here. So it actually might be a lot closer than I thought due to those storms there. They end up taking out the Collosi. It does look like Sage will overrun this quite easily here. It does take out the rest of the Templars here. It does have also Warping and Archon. That goes down too. Takes out the rest of this army here. So this is great big trouble as it's basically up to Polaris and his air army at this point in time here. Yes, right back down to 75 food there. And Sage should be able to clean up everything in this army here. He's doing very good. It now has the 2-2 upgrades as well here. Oh, and Banyo's got some swarm hosts on the field here. Some very decent move there. And here we go. They do melt pretty much that entire base there. Nexus is the last to go here. So not too bad of an attack there. Just a lot of probes there. That is a ton of probes for Stargazer there. And they're all going to try and get out of there. Might not end up losing the probes. He might have caught him in time there. Got them all back. Rallied up to the point there. But at the same time, he is going to start moving up that way. So you might want to look out. Getting some more pinging down here. But basically that base is right out of there. And here comes that air army. And I don't think the Sage wants anything to do with that air army. He should really be running. He really likes to ping though. I will say that. He is pinging like crazy here. And there we go. There's the swarm host there. They meet up with Sage's army here. So they're going to try and move out with the swarm host as well here. But does not want to run into that Void Ray army unless Sage can get up there and help. But at the same time, it's a very big air army there. They end up picking up almost all those swarm hosts. They do have a observer in there. Very well done there. An observer, sorry. So they actually do get the vision on everybody there. Almost picks out all the swarm hosts there. And the carriers really going to work on Sage's army here. Sage does not like carriers near to any of those roaches. They're going to end up running off here. At the meantime there, he is trying to push ahead with these locusts here. They're trying to kill as many probes as they can, which isn't a bad move. And there we go. That is a lot. How many carriers does he have? 5 carriers altogether, so that is a fairly deadly army. As all of them are loaded up with interceptors, could be a very bad story for Banyo and Sage here. It does look like Banyo is going to get another expansion. Sage in the meantime has been expanding like crazy. So Sage has 1, 2, 3, 4 bases so far here. But then again, Polaris did establish this second base again. And they have managed to keep Stargazer down to 2 bases for the majority of this game here. They're going to catch this hatchery off guard here. Nobody over here to protect this. At the same time, I don't know if they have enough anti-air to protect this here. They really go to work here. They do have the 1 for air shield and 2 for air weapons still. So Polaris hasn't done any upgrades regarding that there. Sage is going to move across. Has a lot of Hydralisks, so he might be able to handle this quite easily here. Here's another carrier for Polaris here, and he's actually going to go right in the back door of the main. This could be very big trouble here, especially if he ends up taking out this hive and all the production buildings. We'll basically disable all Banyo's buildings. Banyo won't be able to build any offensive units if he walks through there, but at the same time, Sage is getting up there, and Sage has a massive Hydras. So he will be trying to move in there. They're trying to stay on the outside because they don't want to get caught in the middle of the base there, especially with the speed Zerg has on creep there. And here they go. Now he sees them. Now he's going to back them off right away, of course. Very smart move by Polaris there. Not too bad at all. Definitely wants to get him out of there. He doesn't want to get caught out of position at this point in time, so he's really going to rally for position here. He's going to kind of go in and out there, kind of explore. And Banyo in the meantime has got a support unit. He has actually built the Corruptor there, which will be very, very handy, especially to support Sage and his great big army of Hydralisks and Roaches there. Like I say, Hydra Roach is a very good build no matter what skill level you are. So if he's going to get Corruptors to support to that air army, they might actually do all right here. You want to take out those rocks, so we'll give him another option for a gold expansion there. And here we go. This air army really flying around, but not getting a whole ton of support out of his partner there. Stargazer did end up losing his army many times, but Stargazer is giving him a team of observers. That is a lot of observers. He's got 4 observers to support him out there. And Sage is just slowly going around the map. They realize how contained they have their opponent. They kind of realize that the opponent really only has basically what's over here. They're not too sure this gold one just went up. So as far as they're concerned, all they have are the 4 bases altogether to work off of here. But in the meantime, they're really trying to control this side of the map. Polaris has been hovering it all this time here, basically back and forth. And up here, there, Sage has this almost fully saturated there. And it does look like Banyo is building a team of drones. So not too bad there. Banyo has a ton of drones here. So if he wants to move out with the most drone attack, he will definitely win that. And here we go. Now he's going to run into that air army. And like I say, he doesn't want to get caught out of position. Almost did at that point in time. He is building up the gold and will lead everybody over to the gold. So they will actually see this. So now it's going to be a little bit of trouble here, but does have the Corruptors to try and support him here. The Corruptors will definitely fend off the Phoenixes. And with that amount of Hydralisks, especially with the 2-2, could be very deadly, but you do need the focus fire on the carriers, otherwise the units aren't the smartest in the world, and sometimes they do kill the interceptors instead. But he does have a lot of roaches that might get caught out of position here. They're all at this end of the map. I'm not too sure if he's looking to run a double pronged attack or what his entire plan is, but it does look like it actually. So he does know where the air army is, and he is going to move in here with the ground army. So very, very smart. But in the meantime, it does look like Sage will end up losing a base here quite easily here. All these carriers will easily massacre through this, along with a couple void rays he has in there. There goes the hatchery down the ground there. But at the same time, they lost one on the gold here. At least they will lose the one on the gold here. They're trying to take out as many probes as they can there. That's a lot of probes in the map here. Just so much going on here. Way over here, it does look like Polaris is also trying to get as many kills as he can here down into the next base here. So he's doing really well, trying to get all the kills that he can on those scorecards especially. There's basically the only thing over there that is doing anything. But the Hydraless army has arrived here. So now he needs to focus down those carriers, and he is. There you go. You see he's 1 to 2 shot the carriers. It does look like a 3-shot actually. 4-shot, wow, as he did end up picking up a lot and melted the army fairly good actually. That was a little bit more lopsided than I thought it would be. Polaris is a very strong army. In the meantime here, Sage, oh no, Stargazer has the Darkies out here. So Darkies are going to work on his roaches, and I think he just realized that. So he's trying to figure it out, needs some Overseers. Does he have it? No Overseers on the map here, or at least over in that direction here. And has a lot of Hydras coming out of here. These Hydras are going to try and do as much damage as they can. They might pop in time. It's going to be very, very close, but at the same time, I don't know if they're going to have what it takes to take out this many carriers here. And it will be very, very close here. And there they go. They did come out and did get a kill there. Might actually get 2 here. So he might actually have done a good job here, as he wasn't ready to control those Phoenixes, but at the same time doesn't quite get the second kill. Phoenixes end up picking up these Hydras here. So here comes the other. Oh, that carrier. Don't know if you want to take a piece of that. And will not take down that carrier. A little bit surprising there. But it kind of sucks for him. And here we go. The rest of the Hydras for Sage and the Corruptors coming over here. Polaris losing his army. At the same time, Polaris I don't think has the income to rebuild that army. Not really does he have the income to do so here. So that is actually big trouble. That'll actually put him way back here. They're trying to chase down the rest of these observers here. They'll easily do so here. In the meantime, it does look like Sage did end up losing all those roaches there before he can get the whatever you call it over there, the Overseer. Where you can get the Overseer over there. There's Banyo getting up another expansion here. Banyo really needs to get that income count up there. Meanwhile, Sage here not doing too bad, but he's been spending his money very, very well as well there. Stargazer, he's got absolutely nothing left. Needs to expand at this point in time. Has the Darkies moving around the map here, but these Darkies aren't going to win you the game, son. I do promise you that much. They're going to move into the Hydraless army here, but at the same time, he does have some Overseers around there. There's the Overseer. It's going to help him basically clean up this army here. Here comes the other Darkies trying to get out there as well here, and does walk right through detection there. Might actually end up getting into the base here. Don't know if he has any detection up here. Oh, he must have detection somewhere around here. Oh no, he does actually end up losing that Darkie here pretty quick here. Not quite. He knows he's there. He wants to kill him. Needs that to plant down. Not too sure why you need that to plant to get the vision, but either way, there he goes. Now he'll be able to finish off that Darkie here. Darkie does end up going down there. So basically, Stargazer has lost anything he can get at this point in time. He doesn't have anything else to build. He needs to get an expansion out because he doesn't have any money to build anything there. Or he could ask his partner for money. His partner isn't doing that bad of a job, running 900 and 2200, not building a lot out of it. What does his partner have, actually? 2 Phoenixes. So maybe they're trying to see who can save up the most, and they're going to move right off of this map somewhere nice on the beach where they can relax and not have to worry about dying. That's the only thing I can come up with here, but either way, there he is saving up his money for something. And there we go again, Sage pinging like crazy. He does like to ping those expansion spots there for you, which is very, very helpful as a partner. I will say, pinging is the key to victory. There you go. You heard it here first. So Sage, in the meantime, is moving out with his massive Hydraless army again there. Count those up there. That's 24, 32, 35 Hydras on the map here. Not doing too bad there. Something ended up dying there. Wasn't entirely sure what that was. Probably an observer more than likely here. Or maybe just one of those little meteors hitting the ground. And here we go. Sage is going to move in here. And I think this might be the finishing blow here. As I don't think they even have anything to fend this off with other than 8 Zealots and the 2 Phoenix here. So there we go. We're going to move right in on the expansion here. Should easily be able to clean this up here. Polaris is going to end up losing all that good stuff he's got down there. Pretty much had it mined out, but at the same time there, I think his partner Stargazer walked away about 10 minutes ago here, as he hasn't been doing anything here. Here we go in the main here. They're going to look at knocking down every building they can. And what was he sitting at upgrades for? I was sitting at 2 upgrades, and we can probably speed this up at this point in time, I'd have to imagine, because this is the only one left is Polaris. Whether or not any of these guys are at their PC right now, your guess is good as mine. They're going to walk through this at double time here. We can maybe move up in 4 times here. 4 times speed. They're going to knock down every one of the buildings in this map here. And there we go. Pretty much cleaned up on Polaris here. The only one left is Stargazer, who I'm convinced is not at his computer there. We'll knock down the last of the Stargate and the Cybercore. And there goes the last Stargate. There's the finishing blow for him there. And other than that, what does Stargazer, or
sorry, Polaris has left. He got a couple of simulators there. So there we go. If he does finish off these simulators, that will quit one. He will leave a couple Hydralisks over there, and none to kill this one, so that will keep Polaris in the game here. And here, oh, sorry, Stargazer was playing. Let's slow this down, because I'm interested now. I didn't think he was playing at all. Stargazer is going at her. He's putting down the storms there. He's going to try his best. He doesn't want to lose this. Same time, with some very good micro, he should be able to micro around those Archons quite easily here. Now let's see what they determine they're going to do here. If he brought those dogs in, that would be a very big help. They would get melted pretty quickly, but they would be a good meat shield, especially for that amount of Hydralisks there. In the meantime, they're going to kill off those Corruptors who aren't going to do a whole lot of good at this point in time. And Sage is going to leave that area of the map, and here we go. Archon Army. Archon upgrades 3, 3, and 1. Wow, so yeah, 3 ground armor, 3 ground weapon, and the 1 ground, or shield, I guess. Yeah, I'll probably speed this up here, as I'm not too sure if he's going to chase him down or do what here. But at this point in time, I think there's just too much between Banyo and Sazer. I don't think it is possible, but we'll soon find out here. Look at that massive amount of Hydras here. Does get a couple storms off here. Don't think it's going to be enough there. There they go. Once that shield goes down, doesn't take much to finish the rest off here. And, of course, Stargazer has no more money. The only reason he had money is because when his opponent died. And there we go. Well, that's going to be it there. My condolences to you, Polaris and Stargazer. My congrats to you, Banyo and Sage. I apologize for taking so long to get it up. Like I say, these long ones are tough, my good men. Thanks to all my Hayden boys. Remember the Friday challenge. I'll leave it in the description. It's on the Facebook fan page. I will leave it with this, my good men. If you see that red light, make sure you don't walk to the left side of the road, because that's when the rabbits hop out and the turtle shell falls off. Thanks so much for watching. You be good. Don't hurt nobody. Peace.